Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. It is Monday, and as promised, we are going to get started on another Nissan Rogue. This is a blue one. I think it's a 2020. It's an SL, 50,000 miles. And like I said, this is going to be the daughter's winter beater. And not necessarily a winter beater, but a college car, I suppose you could say. So let's get started on it here. So this is our project here. This is a 2020 Nissan Rogue. It's got approximately 50,000 miles on it. It's an SL, so it's loaded up real nice, leather interior, heated seats, all that good stuff. Basically, this is going to replace the daughter's Bronco for the winter and basically save some mileage from driving back and forth to college with it. So, as you can see, we've got some pretty severe damage to the right front door area here. So the plan is to get this door open so we can at least see what kind of structure damage we have. Now, usually I don't prefer side hits. They can be difficult to repair, especially if you don't have a frame machine. Obviously, as you can tell, we have a frame machine. So once we get this door off, we're going to basically see what kind of condition we have. Get the door panel off. The back door panel is removed already, so I don't have to do that, and it is in the car, luckily. So once we get this door open, we can get the inside door panel off the car. We'll get the mirror disassembled, and then we'll see if we can just get the door itself off of the car, and then we're going to start looking at the structure side of it and see what we need to do for repairs. Once we get that door off, well, obviously we're going to move to the back door. Like I said, the interior door panel has already been removed, so we're going to go ahead and pull the door handle off of it and any other trinkets that we need, and then get that door unbolted also. We do have two new to us used doors, and they are in color. But this way here, we don't have to do any jam work on the inside of the door. So once we get that all straightened out, we can see what we're going to have to do for repairs. Once we get an idea what's going on inside here, we'll just address it from there. I could see this all the way through the door, but I thought that was from the incident. I don't think it was now. These are some pretty clean cuts. So the body shop was in here with a cutoff wheel. They cut it and bent all this back so they could see what's going on in here. And obviously, we have some damage to the inner structure, and the exterior is actually not bad. This is garbage, I get that. So this is definitely going to get a little deeper than I planned, but I kind of figured it was going to. It is what it is, right? So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get on the horn right away, and we are going to get a rocker cut ordered. We'll call around and hit the junkyards quick, find out who's got something. Worst part is I had an entire parts car I could have pulled this off of, but I junked it a couple weeks ago because I got sick of looking at it. We're going to get this thing racked up on the frame machine because we're going to have to do some pulling. I do believe the bottom of this B pillar, this section here, is in about a 1/4 inch. I mean, you can pretty much see it right here, how it kind of buckles in. So we're going to have to get a little medieval on this here, get this back out. We've got some work to do up here on the front lower hinge. It's drilled in. We are going to replace this exterior skin, probably from here down. But other than that, we're going to have to fix this here. So we're going to get racked up. We'll do some pulling on this, do some pulling on this. We got a little work to do. Not sure what's going on here. This definitely looks like it's back. We got a pretty good kink right here, but I don't know if that's just riveted or spot welded to this outer structure or if that's part of the inner structure. When I get that all off, we're definitely going to find out. So cool thing about this, and I'm not a Nissan, well, I am a Nissan guy, but I never done a side hit. It looks like this outer skin is seamed right here. I pulled this sealer off and all the spot welds are right here. So we don't have to get into any of this. That can all stay there. So basically we're going to drill some spot welds out, pull this outer panel off, and then we'll see what the inner structure looks like, and we'll make repairs as needed. See how it goes. Well, I'm going to have to say that went pretty well. Having Cameron out here definitely makes a big difference. Basically, we just hammered it out. I think that took us probably about a half hour to get basically all the spot welds drilled out. And now we can really see our structure damage here. Again, it's not totally into the rocker at all. It's just into this, basically this B pillar, this lower B pillar here. And then we got a little bit damage up here on the front hinge, which I knew was there. So now that we got this all exposed, we can kind of see what we're working with. We're going to do something. I'm not quite sure what's going on here yet. I believe it's just pushed in, which is giving us this buckle right here. But what I think we're going to do is I have a rocker cut on order from the junkyard. It's going to take a few days to get that, so we're not going to continue too far at this point. Basically, I don't want to go any further until I know what I'm getting. And then from there, what I would like to do is take this section here up a little higher and expose this lower mount for the door, because we need to fix this here. So I'm thinking probably just continue the spot weld drill across here, up through here, and just replace this whole section. Seam it. We'll probably seam it right about here, and then just replace this section down, weld it back in, put the new rocker on. That should put this pretty much right back to exactly where it was originally. And then up here, again, I'm not totally sure what I'm going to do yet. I just have options. But I don't really want to do anything until I see how much cut I get. I told them to cut between the middle, between the upper hinge and the lower hinge. So I'm hoping right around here they'll give us. So if I can take this up a little bit, I might just replace this section here. Then at that point, we might not actually have to do much pulling on it. I still need to pull that B pillar out probably about a 1/4 inch, but once I get all that bent structure out of there, pretty much be able to move that by hand. And in the front area, it's just that lower hinge. Other than that, this thing's pretty simple. So anyways, we'll get our cut, we'll get that in here, get that drilled out, get everything ready to go, and then we'll start cutting this side apart once we know more of what we have to work with, I guess. So stay tuned, I guess. Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. It's Monday again. We are back on the Rogue, and it is a beautiful day to be working in the shop. It's cold and rainy and crappy. So we are back on the Rogue today. Obviously, we got the rocker cut off. We got our new clip here. So today's task is going to be to basically get all the spot welds drilled out on this section here. We'll get this rocker skin off of the existing cut here, and then we're going to go in, start taking some of the inner structure out that we want, and then we'll do some adjusting on that one and start cutting it up and putting it together and make it look like something. So hang tight. There's two ways to do it. First thing I do is I basically just run through it with an 1/8 inch drill bit. That's probably going to be a little loud. I will try to pull the volume down. Let's go down here where it's a little more open. Basically going to put an 1/8 inch hole down through the center. The rotor broach has a tip that'll now slide down through that hole. So you got one way of doing it. You can go right at with the rotor broach. And what that does is basically drill the spot weld itself out, but leave the second layer still there. So basically when we go to weld this onto the new car, or onto our car, we still have the metal on the back to weld the spot weld to. But because this is the clip, and we don't need this back structure at all, basically we can just blow right through it. And there's two ways to do that. You can just use a standard drill bit as usual, or a step bit. And basically tear that spot weld out of there. So that's basically what today's task is. We're gonna get started with this. I'll get everything drilled out. Okie dokie. I think only one way you're gonna find out, and that's to just start tearing it apart. Let me get this off of here quick. So I ran through 1/8 inch drill bit through everything, kind of loosened everything up, and from here, trusty old wood chisel, and we are just going to start working it. I already took the seam sealer off. Basically just try to get between the layers and try not to bend the crap out of it. kind of want it to be the same shape. They do make special tools for doing this, but I don't own it. Never have. Well, I just use an old wood chisel. Okay, so we got the outer rocker skin off, but we still need this next layer, which I think is just steel because it's rusting and it drilled well. If this was a Ford, and this is why I don't do side hits, this section here would be made out of a material called boron. It's a high strength steel of some sort. I've worked with it before and it absolutely sucks because you can't drill it. It will eat a drill bit up. You'll get one, maybe two holes through it, and the drill bit's junk. So trying to drill out all the spot welds is pretty much terrible or useless unless you have a special bit for drilling boron, which are super expensive, and honestly the ones I use still didn't work with a crap. The easiest way to do it is to grind them and then weld them back in. But in my opinion, if you're welding that steel, the boron, I believe you are weakening the steel as far as a safety standpoint. The point of the boron is to, when the impact comes in like it did on this car, if it was a hard impact, the object of the boron, from my understanding, is to take that hit, turn it to heat, and basically reshape itself long enough for the airbag to get down between the inside of the car and the passenger. It's a split second, but that's sometimes what is needed, I guess. But if this was boron, I really wouldn't be able to work with it, not correctly. So like I said, I usually don't buy side hits because of this reason. I kind of rolled the dice on this one, and honestly, I didn't think it was into this section of the car. I thought it was just going to be in the outer, if anything. I didn't think it was as bad as it is, but from everything that I played with so far on this isn't boron. So we're going to go ahead and just finish drilling these spot welds out, and then we're going to take this section off, and then once we get that off, I'm going to do a little work up here, and then we're going to start getting the car itself ready to accept the new parts. Everything came apart good. I chewed up a lot of 1/8 inch drill bits, but it is what it is. You're going to go through them. So we got the new section, old section off, obviously. Something to keep in mind is this is a USA built car. This clip is off of a Korean built car. What's the difference? I really don't know, besides they're built one here and one there, but basically all of our spot welds are now in different locations than the new one. Now most cars, like if I was doing a quarter panel or something on a Mustang or something, the spot welds are, for the most part, they're in the same spot because they're all done by a machine. But in this, they're not even close. And with that being said, I don't know if you can see this like stamped. There's like a line right through here, kind of stamped into it. I don't know what it was from, something with manufacturing. And that, I was going to use that as a cut line. Because I'm like, cool, it's already got a mark. And up there, about 3/8 of an inch difference. So, you know, pay attention to stuff like that. Never assume, I suppose you could say. So we weren't able to use that. I had to basically just make my own marks and go with that. So what next step is we're going to, I went through with the black marker and marked where all the spot welds are on this panel. And I'm going to go ahead and clean those areas up. And then we'll clean the back of this up. And then we're going to get some weld through primer on those areas. And then we're going to start putting it together. Now this section here is still pushed in. But as far as this guy going on, you know, everything down around and back up here is great. So I'm going to go through and start working this area on, get this tied together, and then I'm going to go on and grab this with the machine and pull this to the new part, because I know this isn't bent. I do know that that is bent. So we're going to basically move the car to this location, and that's going to put it back within range. Anything else in there we'll be able to adjust out in the door hinges if necessary. So anyways, we're going to get that part done, and then we'll get doing some welding. Well, that stuff has had its appropriate time to flash off, I suppose you could say, and we are ready to start putting this back together, I believe. Line up our marks, throw a clamp on, and burn it in. Said I got probably a 1/4 inch gap from here to here. So I was going to pull this inner structure to this, but I want to get this secure first because I think it's twisted like this. So I'm going to secure this, pull that to it, clamp it, hit it with a hammer, all that good stuff. See what happens. First, disconnect the battery though. The battery is disconnected, but I don't have any gloves. Man. Now, not all of these are welded just this to this. Some of these are all 3 layers, so I gotta figure out which ones those work by looking at the rocker. So that's gonna be our rocker. It's gonna sit somewhere around there, so this one, this one, this one, and this one. So for now, we're going to weld the ones that are not all the way through. And then we'll grind them down and treat them a little bit before the rocker goes on. For the most part, we have that part welded in, but like I said, I need to move this inner structure in just a little bit. It's not much, so we are going to just put a little pressure on it. And basically snug it together. It ain't gonna take much if you open the valve. Try that again. Just like that. I'm gonna take a little bam bam, relieve the pressure on it a little bit. I'm gonna put just a hair more. Okay. Now these here, I'm gonna plug weld these holes, even though the outer rocker is gonna go on and weld to those. I'm going to weld them shut now so it holds that inner structure where I want it, and then I'll just grind them smooth and then re-weld back to that plug weld when we put the outer rocker on. Just hold it all together. Just because that's the way I want to do it. That's just the way it's going to be. So now that that's all welded, I'm basically going to take some time and I'm going to stitch this weld back up so the upper and lower inner structure is one piece. And that should be it for this. Do a little grinding, a little cleanup. And then we will address this situation here. Like I said, the lower hinge drove, when the hit came in, it drove that in. And at this point, I don't want to replace this. This is a lot of going on, and as far as structure-wise, I think we're going to do some pulling on this first and see if I can get that back out to where I want it. And then we'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to get this finished up, and then we'll work on the front. So we spent a little time cleaning this area up here. Like I said, I ground those plug welds down smooth, so when the outer rocker goes on, I don't have any obstructions there. We did, just clean the welds up here. I didn't get crazy. I wanted the weld to stay in there because that's obviously the new strength of that section, I suppose you could say. So I just cleaned it up, took Scotch-Brite, cleaned it up, whatever, ground it down a little bit, put some primer on that, put weld through primer around the areas where we're going to be welding at, and we're going to let that sit tonight. We're done with that section, and now we're going to go up here and see if we can burn the car to the ground. The only thing I can come up with, I've done this multiple times, basically this cable wrapped around. I have 3 hinges for this car, so this is the original hinge. It's junk already, so basically I bolted that back on, and then we got this pucker right here. So this hit came in obviously this way. Drug the door back, so pushed it back this way. So basically I'm going to reverse that. I got the tower set a little more forward on the machine, coming in back at an angle here. And what we're going to do is just take the torch with the brazen tip on it, and we're just going to warm this area up right here. There's not a lot of structure there, so I'm thinking it's going to pull back out fairly easy. I already checked to make sure there's no wiring behind there. There's another layer behind that, so we're good there. There is a lot of foam right here, so I got the handy dandy air blower ready just in case we light it on fire. And if you think that's funny, it's not, because it will not be my first time lighting a car on fire doing this, especially in this section. So we're gonna be careful, and we're gonna see what happens. So we're not gonna get crazy, but I think a little heat will help. I feel this top hinge is same thing, just a little, just a very little. I think we're not gonna put any heat on that one. We're just going to we'll just go up to that height, right about there. Basically, we took it out, and then we took it a little past. If we just pull it, it just kind of brings it back, and then it's going to settle back where it was. So we take it out, take it past, and then put it back. And I'm much happier with that. It had just a little, like a little indentation, that's all. So we're gonna call that good. So far, I'm pretty happy with everything. I'm happy with how this fit back together. I'm happy with how that pulled out. That there's way good enough for what we need to do. Top hinge, obviously, that's not a big deal. So this, as far as I'm concerned, is done. Next step is to start working on the rocker. We're going to get the new one trimmed, get a match, get it ready to go, and then from there, we will get the new rocker set up on there, get a couple tacks kind of on all the way around it real quick, and then pretty much just throw the doors on it and see how everything lines up. Should be pretty good. I mean, it wasn't far out to begin with, so I think we're well within range of getting the doors to fit just the way they need to. So, but it's dinner time, so we'll start back after dinner. See you in a minute. Basically, I came out, evidently the battery was dead in the camera, so I had to put that in the charger. While I was charging, I took the time to basically trim this up, get it doing what we want it to do, and I'm pretty happy with it. Basically, just, you know, the clip was obviously a lot taller than where I cut the car at, so I just keep putting black lines, basically tracing where the edge is, and just trim it down a little at a time, get it close, and then just keep fine tuning it and try to keep all your gaps tight. You know, the tighter they are, the easier it's going to be to frickin' weld this thin metal back together. It's still going to be just tack weld after tack weld after tack weld. You're not going to lay a bead on this crap. But it's nice and tight. We're good to go. I got the weld through primer on everything behind there that I want. I mean, everything fits. As far as I'm concerned, it fits frickin' perfect. So I don't think I'm even going to bother putting the doors on. I think I'm going to just wing it, throw this on, burn it in, get ready to go. So what do you think? Time lapse? Turn the music on? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, let's do that. Time lapse and music. I like that idea. All the way through here, except for that seam right there, and that was tight. That seam was tight, and I could not turn that welder down low enough to not burn through that crap. That was like trying to weld newspaper. That's pretty awesome. But slow and steady wins the race, so it's together. Might be a few spots might have touch up after I clean it up tomorrow, but I am done for the night. I think it's about 9 o'clock on a Monday night. That's enough for me for one night. So I took some time this morning, ground down all the welds and all that good stuff, and then Cameron got home from school, so turned her loose with the DA sander and some 180, and she went through and feathered out all the seams and basically just sanded out the whole thing. And then from there, she got a couple coats of Omni epoxy on it. It's a MP 170, just gray, nothing special, over the bare metal here for the most part. And then from there, I'm just mixing up a little mud. We're just going to start smoothing these seams out a little bit. This is really tough to put this on and make it look good, so don't judge me too much because it's tough. It's just messy. You just gotta get it on there and sand it out and then make it look like something. And I really wasn't paying attention. I mixed up like way too much mud, but this is Evercoat filler. It's the lightweight. It's the first time I've used this, and I'm not really a fan. I don't care too much for it. It does sand really nice, but it leaves a lot of pits in the mud, and not so much here because, like I said, we're just kind of, for the most part, gooping it on and then sand it out to try to make it look like something. There's just no easy way to do this besides the way I'm doing it, so it'll work. Like I said, it all sands out in the end. It's just a little more time sanding, but we'll probably get 1 or 2 coats of this. Well, 2 for sure, maybe 3. Get it smoothed out. Remember, we're not going for straight. We're going for smooth and shiny on this part, so. So we let that first coat set up for probably about an hour. Went in and had dinner. Come back out and I hit it with the DA, with some 80 grit on the DA. Just kind of knocked it down, get it kind of going the direction that we want. You can't finish this with a DA because you cannot get into all the cracks and crevices and make it look decent. So basically second coat on. From there we're just going to hand sand and just kind of make it look how we want it to look. Smooth and shiny is all we really need. It's a door jamb. Ain't nobody really looking in here. So we're back on this thing again here, clear coat time. So we based up to right about here, okay? And this is the original clear up here. There's no base coat. Oh, there's no base coat up here. So basically we're going to do 2 coats of clear. We're going to do one on the main area that we have base coat on, and we're going to let that flash. And then our second coat we're going to bring up further and closer to the original finish, which is going to leave us at what we call a dry spot or a dry edge. And from there we take this, I'm about out, but this is a finishing blender from One Choice basically. It's just an aerosol can. And what we'll do is basically take that, we'll have that dry edge, and we'll just dust it with that, and it'll dissolve the clear and give it a nice smooth transition into the original clear. Like I said though, I would never do this on the exterior of a car. I know shops do it, but I don't do it. If you're gonna fix the panel, clear the whole panel, be done with it. So anyways, we're gonna get the booth running, get some clear on this thing, and then we're gonna be done for the day. Our 2 coats of clear on, we blended out the areas that we talked about. Everything looks, good enough. It is what it is. It's just door jamb, but let's check this out. So here's our spray outs that we did, and so this is black with what they call a dark cherry overlay on it, and you can see that purple over the blue. That's kind of a cool color. I mean, nothing I would drive, but it's a cool color. And then so this is black, right? And then when the sun comes out, I don't know if you can see it or not. So basically it just turns a nice dark cherry and then goes black again. I don't know, we'll get it out in the sun next time the sun comes out anyways, and then we'll run it through the customer, run it past the customer, let him look at it and see if something, I don't know, like I said, he wants dark cherry over black. If somebody could tell me what the hell that is, that'd be great. So this is what we interpret as dark cherry over black. Is what it is. Anyways, it's Wednesday. This is done. We're gonna let this set up overnight. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'm heading to Indianapolis tomorrow to pick up a car. So we'll be back on this Friday. But for you, it'll be just like that. Well, it's Friday, and we are back on the Rogue again. Yay! So yeah, road trip yesterday. Picked up a headache down in Indianapolis in a snowstorm. You'll see that in a later video. Today we picked up, well, if yesterday's was a headache, today we picked up a migraine. That again you'll see in a later video. It's I don't know about that one, but we'll get to that one later. Back on the road. So I talked on the silver video when we did the silver Rogue how I was going to do the next car in color. Basically my plan was to do no painting. I knew I was going to do painting in the door jamb, but my plan was to do no painting on the body. And obviously we got 2 new doors and a new fender. And the way I was doing that was I bought all the parts for this car in color. So they're used doors and a used fender, same paint code. Theory was, bolt them on, not have to do any paint work. So if you were the average Joe who didn't know how to paint, this is the way you could do it. I went to LKQ and had my guy Jeremy at LKQ track down the parts in color, shipped them all in or whatever. and they've been sitting here ready to go. But I just unpackaged the one door, and I can already tell that it's been repainted. So, and not nicely either. I mean, it is what it is. It's mine, so we're gonna put that door on. I'm assuming it's not gonna match. I'm probably gonna have to paint the freaking car. Whatever. So let's get this door put on, get this door put on, see how everything lines up, and we'll kind of go from there. Door. This might be fun to do by myself. I should have some help, but Cameron's not around, so I can get these bolts to line up here. That. Yeah, not even freaking close to the right color. Yay! That means another 3 days of work. The joy of doing builders. Yeah, I don't know how obvious it is from where you guys are sitting at, but it is way, way obvious from where I'm sitting at. Well, hopefully this door didn't come off the same car as that frickin' door. Oh. I'm thinking it didn't because the packaging was way different. It was packaged like somebody gave a crap. Crap is not my first choice of word, but that looks the right color, but got some pretty good scratches. Damn. Nope, it's a repaint too. Well, that was a waste of a lot of frickin' effort. Gravity. Nice. Broke tip. Well, besides the color being off drastically, scratches in the frickin' door. Everything's so far so good. I think I actually want to move this whole door back like 1/16 of an inch. This gap's a little tighter than I like to see there, and that's just a little fatter. So yeah, I think I'm gonna take a few minutes, I'll adjust those hinges, slide that door back, and then we'll put the fender on. See if the fender matches any one of those colors. It'd be like a freaking clown car by the time I'm done here. Dark blue, light blue, medium blue. What are we missing? Dark blue? No, we got dark blue. I don't care if it matches the doors now. I hope it matches the freaking hood. Otherwise, we're going to be painting a lot of parts. What's it look like? Do I want to look? It's been repainted. Man. 0 for 3. I mean, that door does not match at all. Dark blue, lighter blue, almost darker blue than the quarter panel. But the hood, I don't know. We may be okay. I'm probably going to end up respraying the fender regardless, just because I'm going to be spraying the quarter, the door, the front door. Might as well do the fender and make the whole side of the car match, or at least match. At least make it the same shade of blue. But I mean, that's the problem with variances. There's I don't know how many variances there are to this color, so it is what it is. So let's throw this on and see how bad it looks. Yeah, I'm going to vote to say that this fender came off or whatever. I don't know. I see a purple hue on that side. Well, but I see it there in the light too. Okay, so I gotta... Man, that's some terrible paintwork. I can't believe people pay somebody to do that. That is, that's a lot of chemical pop. Tells me it's sprayed in open air, not in a booth. It's just all over. Well, whatever. We're gonna fix that. Anyways, color. All right. I don't know how many shades we got going here. So I do not believe these are off the same car. This has a purple haze to it. And I know I keep saying purple haze, and I keep saying purple haze because it has a purple haze. The hood, which is original to the car, also has a purple haze to it. I don't see it here. Actually, I do now. Anyways, so Cam just come out. She just got home, and I showed her what's going on and what the plan is, and got her thoughts on it. And so we're just going to respray the whole side of the car. Fender, both doors, quarter panel. We're going to wet sand it all down, just rebase everything so it's the same color. She feels that the hood and the fender are a close enough match for her. I mean, they are. They're actually really close. We'll see what they look like in the sun, but I think it'll be good enough. So that's the plan. Just respray the whole side of the car, and then I'll be happy with it. She'll be happy with it. But that ain't going to happen today. I'm going to have to end this video here. This one's getting way too long, and I've got way too much other stuff that I have to do before I can start painting in here again. I've got sawdust everywhere through this shop. So basically, I'm going to shut this car down. I'm going to go back to finish up my wood project that I have going here this weekend. Monday, I have to go to St. Louis to get another Rogue for the next project. Tuesday, by Sunday, this mess is going to be gone. Put away, shop cleaned up, and then we'll get back on this thing. So it's just going to be a respray and throw it together. So I usually like to end the videos with the car all done, but it ain't going to happen this time. It's going to take me another week to finish this thing, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. They're builders. They're never, some are easy, some are not easy. This one is proven not to be easy. And the two that I just picked up, they're not going to be easy at all. So anyways, we'll see you on the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.